most washed-up and irrelevant presidential candidate, Chris Walker. Quitting while he's ahead, former campaign manager Bem Bubba. And Conan O'Brien impersonator and field correspondent Ben Ed.
Welcome to Election Watch 2014. I'm your host, Chris Walker.
And I'm Bem Bubba. And tonight's top story is, where the is Melendez?
Somebody put his face on a milk carton because, ladies and gentlemen, we have a missing candidate. Tonight we're going to be analyzing the presidential candidate platforms, looking at them critically in 6 categories.
The first category is clarity,
research and awareness,
responsiveness,
feasibility and quality,
scope,
and innovative and original ideas.
But first, we're going to be covering a quick recap of the past week's campaign trail. Out of the gate, we have 2 racehorses leading, Chandler and Sam. Both teams have been campaigning hard on both campuses, making sure that students know what the big issues are. On the other hand, Tabakian and Melendez haven't exactly been seen or haven't exactly had a big presence on both campuses. So be sure to go down to the concourse this coming week and see what the booths are saying about the issues that are affecting you, the student body.
Be sure to get informed from those candidates and those campaign teams. And now, back to the platforms.
In our scoring, each category was rated from 1 to 5, 5 being the highest, 1 being the lowest. So, our first section is clarity. Clarity was defined as the readability of a platform and the spacing of the words and basic layout. The scores were Melendez sitting at 2, Tabakian at 3, Joleaf at 5, and Lambert at 2. Some reasoning behind as to why we gave these numbers. Melendez, it felt like a long and continuous thought as we read through it. It was an essay of sorts and very text heavy. Tabakian, although it was spread out and there was an attempt to try and make it easy to read, there was a ton of text and it kind of seemed disjointed and unbalanced as we went through it. Joleaf, it was a very well written platform, very well spaced out on the internet page that he put it on, and being able to click on the interactive platform made it so that you could pick as to what you wanted to read. And Lambert sat at 2. It was difficult to read the red pages. The white text hurt my eyes, to be honest. And the layout, there was an attempt to spread it out. However, it felt very compacted in the page count that he had.
The next category is research and awareness. So do the candidates know what the hell they're talking about when they put it in their platform? Did they talk to the right people about the issues that they have articulated? So in this category we have Melendez with a 1, Tabakian with a 4, Jolliffe with a 4, and Lambert with a 2. Melendez doesn't really have any evidence of research in his platform. He talks about a grant that was given to the university around mental health, but that's fairly public knowledge, having been articulated in the court. Tabakian gets a 4. A lot of his points in his platform mention specific people he's talked to, or he references the fact that it's already ongoing initiatives, so showing that he's done his homework. Jolliffe also gets a 4. He has a lot of things in his platform that really demonstrate his knowledge, the way the Students' Union operates, and what it can advocate to. And finally, Lambert gets a 2 because he doesn't really demonstrate that he knows a lot of the internal operations of the Students' Union or what is really achievable.
Our next category is responsiveness to major issues facing students today. Some of those issues are mental health, cost of education, and academics. Sitting here, we have Melendez at 3, Tabakian at 2, Jolliffe at 4, and Lambert at 3. Reasoning behind these numbers, Melendez got a 3 on this because he focused on certain groups on campus that typically aren't focused on, kind of fringe groups, and he definitely talked about bringing them kind of into the fold of the Students' Union, and which was great. Tabakian got a 2. A lot of the issues he touched on didn't exactly reach out past the sort of FNCC we've been talking about. The reach was definitely an issue and a reason as to why he got a 2, which was the lowest score in this category. Jolliffe got 4. His platform was spaced out, so a lot of different issues were touched on that appealed to a lot of different students. Lambert got a 3 due to his student budgeting initiative that he brought up, which helps the cost of education in a certain way.
The next category we have is feasibility and quality. So can the ideas be done, and are they actually good ideas? We have Melendez with a 2, Tabakian with a 4, Jolliffe with a 3, and Lambert with a 2. So Melendez gets a 2 in this category because he doesn't actually articulate a whole lot of ideas, so we don't really know whether they're feasible or not. Tabakian gets a 4. However, I must admit a lot of his ideas that he talks about are already things being done. Not to say that they're not good ideas, but he himself won't have to do them as president because somebody else is already doing it. Jolliffe gets a 3 in this area. Our big concern here is that Chandler covers a lot of ground with his platform, and not everything may be achievable within his term. It's not to say that he can't lay the groundwork for future years to carry on that work, but it's really ambitious. Plus, some of his ideas maybe need a little bit of tweaking and maybe need a little bit more awareness of what the challenges are around them. Lambert gets a 2 in this area because his ideas just simply don't wow me. Where's the sex? There's no real topic or issue that draws me to his platform. He talks about a few things like foot patrol, celebrity nights that just I don't see working. I don't see it having the desired impact because it's just not that good.
Our next category is scope, and we've defined scope as how many students does this platform speak to? Or with the question, if I'm a random unengaged student, can I find something in this platform that speaks to me? So the scores are Melendez 1, Tabakian 3, Jolliffe 5, and Lambert 2. Reasoning behind the scores, Melendez, although he did bring in certain groups, he didn't really touch on the campus as a whole. Tabakian with a 3 brought in a bunch of different groups with his issues, talking about different initiatives that he wanted to implement. Jolliffe hit a 5. Going through his entire platform, you could see that he definitely talked to a large group of students to try and appease them. And Lambert got a 2. There wasn't too much in the area of reaching out to students.
Next we have innovation and originality. So how new, creative, and innovative are the ideas that the candidates are putting forward? We have Melendez with a 2, Tabakian with a 2, Jolliffe with a 4, and Lambert with a 3. So Melendez gets a 2 in this area. Again, he doesn't really have a whole lot of ideas, so it's really tough to know whether or not they are innovative. Tabakian gets a 2 because a lot of the things that he says are already being done within the university. Jolliffe gets a 4. He covers a lot of topic areas that admittedly have not been covered in past elections or aren't covered by the other candidates, such as moving to elected positions in FOSA and SIGTA. He also, and moving on to Lambert, he gets a 3 in this category because he covers a lot of issues that have gotten a lot of focus from other candidates, gotten a lot of focus in past elections, and focused really on the internal operations of the Students' Union. I'd like to see some more think big.
Some platforms were well researched and very well written, and it's quite evident in the quality that we can see here.
When compiling the overall scores, we decided to apply a weighting system based on certain criteria that we thought were slightly more important than others. Not to say that any criteria is unimportant. So overall scores, we have Melendez with 1.9, Tabakian with 3, Jolliffe with 4.1, and Lambert with 2.2.
We understand that this was a very quick and it felt almost like a too quick of an analysis. So in a link below, please follow it, and you're going to have a much more deeper understanding of what the platforms were from our perspectives.
So platforms are very important. They provide you, the student, an in-depth look as to what the ideas of the presidential candidates are when they're going into office. But is that the only thing that candidates need to be focusing on? There's often a debate in elections, is the substance versus the flash and dance. So which is it?
Well, Chris, I think it's a little bit of both. You need to have a fun and engaging campaign in order to get students to actually come towards you and want to talk, but you also need to have substance in your platform. So I think it really boils down to, at the end of the day, how well you can promote your ideas and yourself as a candidate. You cannot think it's just one or the other.
I couldn't agree more, Ben. Well, that's all for us tonight on Election Watch. Until next time.
Stay golden, Laurier.